Diary entry number 16. Grief isn't just a visitor. Dear Diary, when does grief stop being a visitor and start squatting in the house like it pays rent? Around here, loss isn't a headline, it's a schedule. Somebody gone this week, somebody else memorialized next week. Candles on the sidewalk like seasonal decorations. Friends taken by bullets. Families swallowed by addiction. Dreams quietly repossessed by systems with no return policy. After a while, the shock wears off and grief slips on your jacket, walks with you, learns your routine. It stops being something that happens to you and becomes something you move with. You learn how to laugh while carrying it, which feels illegal but necessary. And some days the weight feels manageable until it suddenly doesn't. Grief doesn't leave just because nobody talks about it. It lingers like background noise, like sirens you don't stop reacting to, but still hear. It shows up in tempers that snap over nothing, in jokes that land a little too dark. It sits at the table during celebrations, quiet but obvious, like an empty chair no one names. It makes you keep people arm's length because attachment feels like signing a future eulogy. Nobody hands out instructions for grieving in the projects where I'm from, just rules about being strong and not crying in public. Pain becomes armor, even though it's heavy and doesn't fit. And everyone keep asking why we're so tired. Some losses feel stitched into the bones, like removing them would take the whole structure down. That kind of grief doesn't evaporate. It gets carried. The problem is, no one teaches you how to carry it without bending your spine. It starts to feel familiar, almost friendly, like a companion you didn't invite, but now know it too well. But familiar doesn't have to mean in control. Grief can sit in the passenger seat without driving the car. That choice begins with facing it instead of outrunning it. Sometimes the bravest thing is to just say, yeah, I'm hurt, out loud. There's something holy about saying their name without lowering your voice, about missing them publicly, apologetically, without adding jokes to soften it. Grief isn't a weakness. It's evidence of love doing what love does when it has nowhere else to go. Healing doesn't mean erasing anyone or pretending the hole isn't there. It means learning how to live without burying yourself alongside them. Memory become a bridge instead of a grave. Stories keep people breathing in rooms they'll never enter again. And carrying grief gently is different from letting it crush you. The ones who left deserve remembrance, not silence. And the ones still here deserve more than survival mode. Our neighborhood has buried too much pain under the words strong, like strength means never cracking. But survival alone is a low bar when healing is possible. Healing starts with honesty. And honesty is messy and loud and sometimes inconvenient. It's admitting that absence still hurt years later. It's letting yourself mourn without asking for permission. You can't rewrite the loss, but we can decide how we live around them. Even with all this hurt, love hasn't clocked out. It's still here, stubborn and loud, refusing eviction. Hope still sneaks in through cracked doors and shared meals. Grief doesn't have to isolate us. It can be the thread stitching the community together. Everybody's carrying something, even the ones who joke the hardest. Leaning on each other isn't weakness, it's strategy. Healing rarely happens alone, no matter how independent we pretend to be. Together makes the load lighter, even if it never disappears. So I write this not to solve grief, because that's above my pay grade. I wrote it to tell the truth about what we carry every day. Grief may walk with us, but it doesn't own us. We're all allowed joy without guilt and laughter without explanation. We are allowed to remember and still live fully. And if nothing else, we're allowed to put the weight down sometimes and catch our breath. I'm signing off now. Still grieving, still loving, and still standing.